ridiculous evening. What a stupid game. Anyway, here we go. Phil's match review, as always. If you watched that, you would have just been on the same rollercoaster of emotions that I've just been on. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was absolutely stupid. Right, before I go any further, the guys that run this channel put in loads more work than I do, so please reward those guys with a very deserved like, share, follow, all that good sort of stuff, or a subscription on YouTube, all that good stuff. It makes all the difference, and that's why we turn out this content for you guys. Also, I love waffling absolute tripe, and not many people like to listen to me in my family, apart from my brother and my dad. So the fact that 100 or so of you guys watch me every week boosts my ego massively. No, I'm kidding. I just like talking. I like talking about Newport. It's my favourite thing in the whole wide world. So if you guys are going to listen, then I'm happy with that. I'm not going to lie, I kind of was slacking with my note-taking today, because sometimes you've just got to sit back and enjoy the game, haven't you? And when it is an absolute rollercoaster, we're 3-0 down at one point, and it all looked like it was over. You just, I can't sit there and scribble. I've just got to take in what's going on, and that's kind of what I did. So I'll read what I've got. We'll have a little chat. I don't even need to do this, do I? We all know what's happening. We're going to Wembley because we just won on aggregate. We lost 4-3, but on aggregate we won 5-4. Yeah. Okay. I should really write these things down. I've got a notepad and pen and I never check my facts before I just spout them off in front of you guys. Anyway, leg 2 of the playoff of the League 2 playoffs. No change to our team? No, there wasn't. But the likes of Labs back on the bench, which is great news. Jammer starts for Forest Green Rovers, and I knew that was going to be... well, I knew that was going to make an impact, and obviously it did. Because Jammer's he's a good player. I think he's a bit overrated, to be honest with you. I know he scored, 17, 18 goals for Forest Green, but he never did that for us. And maybe it's just a style of play, but there's no doubt he's a good player, is he? Okay, I'll shut up now. Yeah, Forest Green have moved to a back 3 at this point, sort of matching what we would normally do. A little side note, Forest Green's pitch at the New Lawn was voted the best pitch in League 2. It struggled this evening, but the rain was biblical, to be fair. There were, especially in the second half, there were patches where the ball would just stop dead. But like we all say, it's the same for both teams. And if I was talking to my brother, Simon, just after the full-time whistle, and he said if this was played at Newport, it'd probably been called off, and he's probably right, and not because it's full of bulldozers and it's all been ripped up, but if it was played at Newport a week ago, with that rain, it probably would have been called off. Yeah, it was a pretty depressing opening half, opening 10 minutes. It was awful for a Newport perspective, anyway. Oh, side note, got my Newport socks on. Look at them. Look at them bad boys. Beautiful. They're my lucky socks, and I think they paid off tonight, and I'll no doubt be wearing them to Wembley. Anyway, the first header, it was beautiful. It was a little flick on a little headed flick on. I've had a couple of ciders, so excuse my slurring words. It was a lovely flick on header. It was beautiful. It's hard to be angry when it was absolutely fantastic. Less than 60 seconds later, the evil Collins. Not that he's evil, of course, but obviously Forest Green's Collins, Aaron. Another very, very well-worked goal. Probably better than their first one, to be fair, from a beautiful cross. Makes it 2-0 in the first 9 minutes or whatever it was. It was ridiculous. Then the commentators go on to say that we've only lost 1 in our last 10 games, which gives you a little bit of a confidence boost, but Forest Green looked absolutely dangerous. Yeah, and they were absolute well-worked goals, but it's hard to explain. It wasn't fluke because they were beautiful, but it was just, it could have gone either way. If it was an inch wider, we would have been okay. If Tom Keane got down quicker, it would have been okay. So it was like, it was unlucky on Newport's part, but they were well-worked goals. It's hard to explain, really, but we were 2-0 down. So I guess it doesn't matter what sort of goals they were at this point, really, does it? But I've written here, this was probably in the 20th minute or whatever. I'm still confident. We just need to slow the game down a bit, because the frantic sort of play that Forest Green were playing, and we were then having to retaliate with, really did suit Forest Green better, I think. So we just had to control the game and slow it down a bit. And then my next comment here was Newport are controlling the game very well now. Much more calm football being played. And we're slowly looking like the better team. And then half-time comes. Phil orders a Domino's, pours himself another cider, and Michael Flynn takes Hartigan and Podge off for Ryan Taylor and Labs. Me, personally, would I have taken Podge off? Yeah, maybe. Labs coming on was probably the best thing that could have happened. Taylor, I'm not his biggest fan, as many of us aren't really, but he did play really well tonight. So, and I'm not going to knock Michael Flynn's substitutions, because if you watch the game, you'll know why, and it'll become very evident shortly. Yeah, and then it comes to 3-0. It was a free kick from some boy who scored 2 goals this season. He was nearly at the halfway line, and it bounced, and Tom King was expecting someone to get a head on it, so he was ready to catch the header, and it just went straight in. It was terrible goalkeeping, to be fair. And in fact, the first goal was undeniably a beautiful goal, and there wasn't much you could do. The second goal, Tom King should have got to it. Third goal, Tom King should have done more. But I'm still team Tom King when it comes to the Nick Townsend sort of battle. And then, big Kevin Ellison gets subbed on. See him warming up, 42-year-old, 83 days, whatever it is. The commentators couldn't get enough of that. And he gets the ball, takes it on his chest, outside the box. And just as calm as you like. I say it every time, like when Matty Dolan scores a screamer. If this goal was scored in Premier League, or by Leo, or Messi, or Ronaldo, or something like that, the whole world would still be talking about it. But honestly, if you haven't seen this goal, get amongst it. The club have posted it on their Twitter nearly before the full-time whistle. He takes the ball in his chest, it comes down, he has a little look up, and it is side foots it up and down, off the crossbar, over the keeper. It was beautiful. It was an absolutely gorgeous goal from a 42-year-old. And I like to think if that was a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old, whatever, would they have scuffed it? Would they have panicked? Would they have sliced it? Potentially. And I think you only get that sort of composure from a boy who debuted for Leicester against Man United in 99 or whatever it was. It's something silly like that, wasn't it? I was 5 years old. But anyway, I digress. 73rd minute, Mickey Dimitriou clears the ball off the line, where again, Tom King probably should have got to it. Mickey Dimitriou absolutely smashes it off the line. And like I said, these are my bullet points are only the real pertinent moments because I was just sat back screaming and shouting and celebrating and all that stuff we're supposed to do as football fans that we've missed doing at the games. Anyway, Labs then runs on. Obviously, he got subbed on too. And it was a beautiful left foot volley. I think it might have been Ryan Haynes who swung the cross in. I might be wrong. But Labs, you nearly expect a player to try and get it on their right and smash it as hard as they could, and it probably would have gone miles over the bar. But Labs just, in the split-second decision, little dink with his left foot, and it sailed in. It was a beautiful goal. Really, really well-worked goal. And then Jammer scores so Labs scores, makes it 3-2 on aggregate, and it's all looking good. Jammer then scores. It was a good goal. It's just his strength prevailed, and Ryan Haynes was sort of trying to get in front of him, and Jammer just throws the right boot forward and dinks it in. But then his celebration, he just stands face to face with Tom King and just stares at him. And I know they had a little bit of an altercation at the first game, and they had a few words this game. And Jammer at this point had dropped the elbow on, not the people's elbow. Dropping the elbow makes it sound like the Rock did it. But he hits Mickey Dimitriou with an elbow at one point, and he'd been cautioned for fouls 2 or 3 times at this point. It's just, it's business, isn't it? Let's be honest. And you can't think about your mates when you're playing football. But the disrespect Jammer played football with tonight. I was a fan of Jammer's seasons gone by, and I knew he always gave a lot of chat to the team he was playing, and he gobbed off at the ref loads. But tonight and the last time we played him, it just seems as though he's actually got something personal against us. Like maybe it's the way we let him go, not that we wanted to, but I don't know. I might be chatting absolute tripe, and it might just be him trying to get into the heads of people. But anyway, he gets subbed off, so it's irrelevant really. We go to extra time. I've written there, Mickey's been absolutely unreal. This is sort of when I was thinking about who's going to get the man of the match for me. And you nearly want to give it to Kevin Ellison because of his goal, and he was brilliant throughout the rest of the game. But then you've got to think of the likes of Josh Sheehan, had a fantastic game. And then obviously you got the other side, Lewis Collins. He was absolutely brilliant today. And Podge had a good first half, but nothing was coming of it. And we all know I fancy Podge, but I think Michael Flynn made the right decision, to be fair. Anyway, here we go. Thinking about penalties and whatever in here. Commentators talk about Forest Green Rovers being starved of football because their fans, obviously this is the first game they got to go to. But the poor vegans have been starved of a decent diet, so they'll be used to it, says the fat guy sat on a sofa at home drinking cider. Anyway, Maynard, who had perhaps been one of the flops of our season, unfortunately, in the 120th minute, maybe the 119th, I don't know, something like that. Lovely chip through ball, lands just at Nicky Maynard, and he catches it well to dink it over the keeper, and then gets the second bit on it too and sinks it, and there we go. You all know what happens next. Newport countering off to Wembley, all that good stuff. I'm wearing a Newport top. I'm wearing my Newport socks, as you've all seen. I am, honestly, I talk about roller coaster emotions. I've not seen a playoff game like that in 100 years. That was unreal, absolutely unreal football. And it was a roller coaster. There was times you were 3-0 down. I was like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? And then just a side note, Michael Flynn, the Flynn out brigade, you've absolutely entitled to your opinion to want Flynn out a few months ago and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not going to get involved massively. I'm a Flynn in. I'm a team Flinny. His 3 substitutions all scored today, and the starting 11 didn't. I wonder if he'll have a bit of a headache come Wembley. I think Labs will probably going to start over Bennett, I'd imagine. And you got to think, Podge coming off at half time, and then big Kevin Ellison coming on and scoring, and Nicky Maynard coming on and scoring. You've got to wonder whether Michael Flynn will be forced to think about that second striker spot. But anyway, we'll see. Wembley next Monday, Bank Holiday Monday. I see a load of people moaning already, me being one of them, about ticket allocations and all that sort of stuff, because I think it's expected to be less than 5,000 a team. I just hope to see as many of you there as possible. I'll be there, no doubt. I've booked the Monday off work and all that good stuff. Honestly, I've calmed down massively now to where I was sort of half an hour ago. Absolutely screaming at the TV. My window is open. Luckily, the kids are at their mum's tonight, but they definitely would have been woken up if they were here. And I've had a text off the neighbour, so she knows that something's going on. Anyway, guys, what a season we've had. Let's just, before, we all know what can happen at Wembley, don't we? Let's be honest. And before we all start worrying too much and then arguing about tickets and blah, 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 let's just reflect on the season we've had. We sat first for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. And at one point, we wanted our manager's head on a platter, and here we are. He's making season-changing decisions. And like I always say, Newport County fight to the end. Jesus, doesn't that come into effect at this time? But like I always say, it's not easy being a Newport fan, but it is good fun, isn't it? Anyway, peace out. I've got work in the morning. I've had far too much to drink. I will see you all at Wembley. Be good. See you later.